Welcome to Shooby Dooby Doo-Wop, a podcast where we talk about pop music. We're halfway through our deep dive of the UK Top 10 Singles chart of the 10th of May 1995. I'm Andy Robinson.
And I'm James Cook.
We should have a little cover of numbers 10 to 6 at least, James, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Listen to the old episode we've done, but here we go. In at number 10 this week, it was Lenny by Supergrass.
Mostly guitar crunches.
Down 4 to 9, it was a former number 1 from the Out There Brothers with Don't Stop Wiggle Wiggle.
An annoying racket for idiots.
Fair enough. Also down 4 to 8, it's Bobby Brown and Two Can Play That Game.
Doesn't say what game, but still catchy.
Down 1 to 7, it was Tina Arena with Chains.
Gets good about halfway through.
It's so good halfway through. And a new entry at number 6, it's Scatman. By Scatman John.
The feel-good story of the year.
Yeah. All the songs featured can be found on our Spotify and YouTube playlist. Links in the descriptions, links in our, just our general nonsense. And if you join our Patreon community, you can get access to our bonus tracks. Half a dozen songs that are in the chart but aren't in the top 10 or never made the top 10 at least. Hence our chance to talk about them. Here's a taste of what you can expect in that.
It's Patreon, so we can say anything we want.
We can say anything we like.
No holds barred. Too hot for TV. Look out, world.
And the fact I used to pretend I was Scottish since 1978 to my kids at school, just for a little bit of attention.
What would be the 10 cat commandments? Gloria Castillo was an actress who appeared in B-movies such as Invasion of the Saucer Man and Reform School Girl.
I'd like to see Invasion of the Saucer Man.
Well, that's got everything in it, hasn't it? Join our community now at patreon.com/ShoobyPodcast.
Number 5.
Down 2 to 5 from its peak of 3, Key to My Life by Boyzone. In my opinion, this sounds like an AI-generated 90s boy band single. It ticks a lot of the boxes. It's a non-threatening pretty man boy singing earnestly about how only the listener of the song can understand them and cure them from their mysterious psychological longings.
Stephen Gately, we will miss you.
Yes, absolutely. Gately and Keating, though, on this record.
Yeah, Keating comes honking in, doesn't he?
They're both singing with quite affected voices in this song. Yeah. I think that's an issue that becomes less of a problem with them later in the Boyzone oeuvre. And this, interestingly, is the first kind of self-penned Boyzone song to be a hit.
Oh, really?
So they wrote this with Mikey Graham from the band and two other guys, Martin Brannigan and the producer Ray Madman Hedges. And those two would go on to write hits for Bewitched, Anton Deck, and the version of Shout that Dizzy Rascal and James Corden did for England in 2010. Yeah, they did that. And they also wrote Roy Chubby Brown's Christmas single, which is terrible.
Oh, great. It's a good CV, though, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it is like, you can see the chord changes come in a mile off.
We're not going to go for the classic songwriting.
Yeah, okay, fine.
I don't love this song. I mean, I have to admit. Interestingly, it's got the older Tina Arena, I'm a prisoner type metaphor. Two records about being a prisoner in the top 10 this week.
Yeah.
Key to My Door, you've got the Chains.
Either singer in the boy band can only be freed by you, the teenage girl listening to this, being my special girlfriend. Playing to the fan base there.
All right, then, let me throw this on you, though. After you think the song is a bit finished and dead and gone, they come out with a bit that goes, girl, you know that I feel for you. There ain't nothing in the world that I wouldn't do. At the end, they saved it a bit, I suppose, to mid-late. And I'm going to say that influenced Taylor Swift. That's the sort of thing she does these days. So it's got that little bit of songwriting in. Okay. That kind of hold the bridge a bit till the end and then make it quite staccato. I mean, that surprised me in it. But, I didn't like this song, really. As you say, it's a little bit on the insipid side. But it's not for us, is it? It wasn't for us at the time.
No, it's not. It's not for us, so it's hard to... But you say that, but there were boy bands who I think had more redeeming features.
One coming up, the next number, yeah.
They had more redeeming features than Boyzone, who I always felt like... A little bit... Listening to Boyzone, particularly those early things, was a bit like having someone hit your ear with a wet lettuce.
There's some stats somewhere that they're more successful than the Beatles.
Yeah, probably. They probably are. Yeah. I mean, and I saw Ronan Keating live because he was in the musical Once. Have you seen that?
I'm aware of it.
Okay, because I loved the film, And we went to see the Western musical with him in it, and I was kind of thinking, is he going to be annoying in this? And he wasn't. He was brilliant.
Okay.
So I'm willing to accept that Ronan Keating and Stephen Gately are brilliant singers.
Yeah.
In this record, I don't think they are. I don't think this is them at their best.
I don't know. It's boys. It's not for me. It's catchy. It's insipid. It's it's number 4.
Number 5.
Number 5. I mean,
They've done cover versions before. They did a lot of cover versions, Boyzone.
Yeah.
It's about 50-50, their hit singles, between cover versions and original songs. Formed, of course, by Louis Walsh as an Irish Take That. You must have seen the clip of the early lineup of Boyzone on The Late Late Show in Ireland with Gay Byrne.
No, go on.
And he's taking the piss out of them, and they dance to some dance music, and it's really embarrassing and awkward.
Have a look at that while you're there, if you like Schadenfreude.
Yeah. Louis and Boyzone fell out, but they reconciled in 2009 on an episode of Ghost Hunting with Yvette Fielding, where they all explored the streets of Edinburgh together and looked at nothing.
A fine metaphor for life in general. Quite like the line, for later on reasons, let's say, that there's a stain on the desktop where the coffee cup lay.
Yes. Oh, good spot. Yes, it does. There is that line in this song.
Yeah. Let's go on to the next number. It's a better song anyway, but similar subjects, let's say.
Yeah, that must have been a bit of an epidemic of that in the 90s.
Absolutely. Everyone must have been leaving their coffee cups knocking everywhere, reminding ex-lovers of each other's presence.
Do you remember the great coaster shortage of 1995? That was all anyone was singing about.
Number 4.
At 4, former number 1, down 2 this week. It is Take That with Back for Good. Now, this is a different kettle of fish, isn't it? While we're talking about boy bands and ballads.
Listening to it after the Boyzone one, it is kind of go, no, this is how you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Boyzone, they mention a coffee cup on there. It's quite insipid. And yet everyone knows coffee cup, don't they?
Yeah.
Everyone knows.
Yeah.
It's got character and personality, hasn't it, this record? As well as being a great song.
Doesn't it sound like the Bee Gees?
Yep, amongst many other things. Yeah. I mean, this is another single I bought at the time. This was one of my purchases, so I helped to get to number 4. There's a notion, isn't there, that I've heard people say, I'm going to give Ed Byrne the credit to this, because I think he might have been first, like he was with the Alanis Morissette Ironic, which Alanis Morissette uses that example of her silly ironic lyrics and what they're not really ironic. She uses it in a pre-show film that she shows now. Do you know what I mean? It's an established thing. And I think Ed Byrne was the first comedian to mention it, but it's such a cliche now. Yeah, he'd had a bit of material that I was jealous with. It must have been back in 95. It was kind of, lyrically, it's a very male thing to do. Whatever I said, whatever I did, I didn't mean it. And how,
He has no idea at all what he did.
Yeah.
I don't know what I've done wrong. It's something.
And it's quite a weak apology, actually, for such a powerful love song.
It's a non-apology apology.
If you want.
I'm sorry if you're offended, was the B-side.
I mean, it's got great little lyrics in, hasn't it? Fist of Pure Emotion. I mean, I see these, when you see that record being played out and about, people just sing along to weird lyrics in it. It's stuck in the psyche, hasn't it? And continues to maintain there. Partly because it's just so good.
When this came out, so I was in my late teens, I wrote some rude words to it that I then sing along to, and my wife hates them because they've essentially ruined the song for her.
Do it.
I'll give you some of them. I guess the opening line, I guess now it's time for me to throw up, obviously. And the lipstick marks aren't on a coffee cup, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it's your brothers online.
I
Don't need a new member. Look at your prudishness.
I'm just as bad as them. Turns out I'm just as bad as them. Do you remember when this premiered on TV?
No.
It was
when
at
they showed the video.
It was on the Brit Awards in '95. Their performance, they came on. It's Take That, and everyone's like, oh, Take That. And they came on, and they were all sat on stools, and they all had weird hair. Did Robbie have like red hair or something, bright red hair? And one of them had dreadlocks all of a sudden. And then they did this song, and everyone was like, oh, actually, this is pretty good. This is really good.
It's irresistible, isn't it? I think if you like pop music and you've got a beating heart, it's irresistible, this song.
It goes on to win the best single at the Brits the following year. It's their third of 5 wins at best single. Do you want to have a guess what songs of Take That might have won best single?
Million Love Songs.
Nope.
No. Not Relight My Fire. That was
Nope.
a cover. Pray.
Covers can win best single.
But not in this case.
Pray did win, yeah.
Shine.
Shine, yeah.
Go on, fill
Patience. And Could It Be Magic? which was a cover. It was a Barry Manilow song. That is one of 3 cover versions to have won Best Single at the Brits.
Okay, do it while we're here. What are the other 2?
Tainted Love by Soft Cell and She's the One by Robbie Williams, which was originally by World Party.
That's a weird little clause in that thing, isn't it? You can have a cover version as best song.
Yeah. Back for Good, number 1 in 31 countries and sold over 1 million in the UK alone. It's the second best-selling Take That single of all time. Behind, and this surprised me, Rule the World is their biggest selling single. It features in the final episodes of 2 iconic British sitcoms. I'd say about 5 or 6 years after Back for Good came out.
8 pints of lager and a packet of crisps.
No. More iconic than that. One of them, probably the most iconic sitcom of the last 30 years.
The Office.
The Office. The UK Office has Back for Good in its finale. And the other one is Spaced.
Another bit of a songwriting masterpiece, I'm going to call it, I like, is the end. It calms down at the end, it goes back to the beginning, and he returns to the first line, I guess now it's time. And that, I love when that comes in at the end again, you know.
Yeah.
It's a little bookmark, isn't it?
It's got a proper ending as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't fade out, which is a cop-out.
Nah,
Have a proper
not
ending.
always.
Have a proper ending, damn you.
Number 3.
On its way to a peak of number 2, I'm going to try and say this right, Guaglione? Is that right?
I don't know, because it's an instrumental, so
Yeah.
you've got no clues. Yeah, go on.
Guaglione by Perez Pardo and his orchestra. What a stupid nickname that is. His name is Perez and his nickname is Prez. They've took 1 letter out of it. That'd be like me calling myself James Jams Cook and you're Andy Ennie Robinson. Stupid nickname.
Stupid nickname. I know very little about Perez Prado. I know very little about this record. I just remember it being on the Guinness advert. Of course, this is why it got some traction, didn't it? You would imagine.
It was. Do you remember what happened in the advert?
No, was it black and white?
Nope.
No, I don't remember.
Okay, so the song came out for the first time in 1958, but never charted. It gets used in a Guinness advert where the most 90s looking bloke of all time is dancing around while he's waiting for his pint of Guinness to settle.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a sort of grinning barman who's pulling the pint for him.
What makes him the most 90s looking bloke of all time?
Oh, he's got that hair. That sort of Oasis fan hair, and he's wearing one of those shirts, like Ben Sherman type shirts, and everything. And he's got a bit of a cheeky grin as he's having a dance.
A copy of Loaded in his back pocket.
Yeah. The bloke was actor and now Reiki master Joe McKinney, who spent 2 years travelling the world promoting Guinness off the back of this advert. He gave up alcohol in 1997. So, like, almost immediately after start, I'm never drinking again. Having had to drink Guinness for 2 years for promotional purposes.
And that's good research, I have to say. I'm guessing you Googled that rather than just knew it.
No, I knew it. I'm very, very learned.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, you know, having this record on the last few days, you cannot help but have a little sachet around your flat, can you? It's silly. It's something appealing. I've been enjoying trying to sing Mambo No. 5 lyrics over the top of it this week.
Well, there's a reason, of course. There's actually 2 reasons why you would do that.
Because it's the same. Go on. Because it's the Perez Prado Louis Bega used the backing from Perez Prado for
That's
song.
correct, yeah.
It's a Mambo, of course.
Yep.
That's the other reason.
It was also in a Guinness advert.
Wow.
It was in a different Guinness advert.
Advertising, it's worked its way into me, isn't it?
3 years later, I don't know if you remember this one.
I don't know
What I
why.
remember about this
I
advert...
don't know why, but I really want a Guinness.
I remember this as being one that would be on at the cinema before the films. It was an old Italian Olympic swimmer, and he would swim in the harbour, and his brother would be there, and he'd have to race against the pint of Guinness settling. Can he get from the harbour, the boy in the harbour, to the shore, to the bar, before the Guinness has finished pouring? And he's like this old guy, old Italian swimmer. That advert was directed by Jonathan Glazer, who in 2024 won the Best International Feature Film at the Academy Awards for The Zone of Interest. But yeah, that used Mambo No. 5, but the original version, because the Louis Bega version doesn't come out until 99.
What can you say about it apart from
It's jaunty, it's jolly, it's
catchy, innit?
it's the kind of silly music I like to listen to cheer myself up.
Yeah.
It's got that sort of old-timey organ, it's like a cinema organ, isn't it?
if we could play it, you would have just heard that. But absolutely, we can try and capture this lightning for you. I mean, it's well worth having a listen. What I like about records like this, there's a few of them, isn't there? Like Tequila's another one. On a more modern level is Pencil Full of Lead by Paolo Nutini. If you're doing a bit of DJing in some, you can put these records on, and everyone's inner idiot comes out when they start dancing. I think that's one of the records that is in this category.
Yeah, also Soul Bossa Nova,
Yeah.
the music from Austin Powers.
Yeah, just like I like what it does to people. Like even people who can be quite conscious, if at the right time in the right place, everyone starts strutting around like a nana. I mean, they're great, these records. I think this is quite a good thing to upend a little bit. There are these records, and for me at the moment, it's Strutting by Thumposaurus. I can feel a bit miserable. Pop that on. I'm strutting about, having a lovely time. I like the notion of some of this pop music is there for, let's call it medicinal reasons, isn't it? A little pick-me-up, a little lift-me-up, which I think is why you can't really dismiss Wiggle It or whatever a little bit, because that's obviously does the same for some people, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Unless they're trying to bring on a psychotic state.
Yeah. Well, apparently there were some lyrics to Guaglione, but they were so filthy that they just didn't sing any of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be nice to hear, wouldn't it?
No, I made that up. I just imagine that all instrumentals have lyrics that are far too rude to be sung.
Number 2.
Down one from last week's number one. It will spend 83 weeks in the UK top 100. That is, some might say, by Oasis.
This is the one my brother bought on K-Single.
I bought this song on CD single. Yeah, go on. Great single, actually. It's got 3 brilliant B-sides on as well, which is Talk Tonight and Head Shrinker and Acquiesce.
Yeah, which is a big fan favourite, isn't it, amongst Oasis fans?
I mean, that was... I bought this single, as I might have mentioned, and it was a thrill, this song. It's just joyous, isn't it, from the guitar intro? Again, what do you think the chorus to this song is?
I'm standing at the station in need of education in the rain.
That bit is the chorus. Yeah,
Isn't it?
Well, you imagine, so the sink is full of fishes because she's got dirty dishes on the brain. Yeah. That's kind of the chorus, but it's got one of the beautiful verse chorus where it comes exploding out the gate.
Yeah, it's the first line of the song is Some Might Say, isn't it?
So many hooks in this song.
Noel Gallagher called it the archetypal Oasis song, and I agree. I think this is one of their best singles.
Me too. Hashtag me too.
That's not what that hashtag means, Andy.
What?
I remember when it came out, and because of how my brain works, my brother had it on K-Single, and I was like, well, I can't buy it now because he's got it.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous. I could have bought it. I could have got it, but I was like, oh, he's got it, so I can't. I think, what did I buy instead? Something by the Manic Street Preachers, probably. I was a right laugh.
Noel Gallagher, as you alluded to a little bit earlier, I remember an interview of him at some time, it must have been this time, because saying this is a great time for British music, because some might say Back for Good is in the top 10, so even at the time, grumpy old Noel will say, that was a good song. Yeah, there's something joyous about this. He also seemed to mention, I remember, that like Christian societies has got in touch with him because they thought he'd written a song about Christianity, which is an interesting spin on this song, isn't it?
I think it's a sign of a good song when lots of people can project their own meaning onto the words.
Well done, Oasis.
Or is it a sign that you haven't been specific enough in the language? I mean, that was the one criticism that was levelled at Oasis, is that a lot of their lyrics were like words that sounded nice, but there was no deeper meaning to it.
It was another criticism, wasn't it? I don't think it was the one. There was loads of criticisms, mainly that they were really popular and everyone loved them. The single had like a kind of a cover, which the photograph alluded to all the lyrics in it. So
yeah,
that was something.
There's a wheelbarrow of fish, isn't there?
Yeah.
They're standing on a station.
Yeah. While I was reminding myself of this song, there's a good cover version by Beautiful South and Paul Heaton of this, which it was a treat. I mean, I used to do a version of this while we were talking about your song that you did a dirty version of. I used to do a version of this at the time, which was made Oasis sound a little bit like Dennis Waterman, I Could Be So Good For You. And if you chug it right on guitar, you can go, if you want to, I'll change the situation, and all that kind of thing. And it did sound a bit like, some might say that, that provided 3 minutes of material back in the day. But yeah, I love this song. How could you not, in a way?
Produced by Noel and Owen Morris.
Good old Owen Morris.
Where would you have seen him from September 1995 onwards?
Owen Morris?
Yeah.
Don't know.
He's on the front cover of What's the Story Morning Glory, but he's not one of the two blokes in the middle of the street. He's a little bit further down the road, holding the master tapes of the album on his head.
Oh, cool. Now, can we talk about the drummer on this song?
Yes, because this is the last track that Tony McCarroll drummed on, isn't it?
Some might say he is. Yeah, they do, of course. It's interesting, isn't it, with old Tony McCarroll? Because they got sacked for not being the greatest drummer. Yet there's something about this song, and of course, definitely maybe.
Yeah.
And mate, I mean, I don't think Tony McCarroll's going to be joining them at Wembley, but there's certainly something about his drumming. It's pretty basic, but you know, he's got his own thing going on for sure. I think he's such an important part of their early sound, and you know, I understand it.
I didn't come away from listening to Definitely Maybe at the time thinking, oh, the drumming's not very good.
I thought the drumming was great.
I
Definitely
didn't
maybe
notice
it's exciting. Pretty basic. Is what they call what musicians call a shed builder as a drummer. He's just going about it and doing. But there's something thrilling about that. Like I say, even on compared to the rest of What's the Story, I like his drumming. Is my point. And you know, I hope Tony McCarroll, I hope you've got loads of money. I hope you're all right, and thank you for your contributions to Oasis because they're great.
The video, to some might say, do you remember it?
No.
No, because the video they put out was just a load of outtakes from other Oasis videos, Cigarettes and Alcohol, whatever, and Live Forever, because Liam didn't show up for the video shoot.
Yeah.
That's the most Oasis thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. It would have been more Oasis, a bit like Unplugged. He didn't show up, but then turned up a little bit later and heckled the people while they were making it like he did on the Unplugged thing. I'm loving Liam at the moment. Have you seen this thing about the tickets? As of recording this time, you know, they're talking about Ticketmaster and the dynamic pricing, and people are angry with Oasis, and I thought they'd keep quiet about it. Have you seen what Liam's been tweeting this week?
No, what's he said?
He said things like, when people have a go at him, when they're trying to sell more tickets for more shows, and people go, will this be expensive? And he's saying things like, yeah, they're going to cost you £100,000 each, and they're only kneeling. And so he's got that going on, and like people are going, is your mum going to be coming? Can she afford the tickets? And he's saying she can't afford to get one. It's made me love him again a little bit in the face of all this furore and people having a go at him. He's so undiplomatic and unafraid to. Most people would be like politically managing that at the moment, and he sort of stepped into it. God bless him.
The UK's number one.
At number one, a re-entry going straight back into number one for Living Joy and Dreamer. It had peaked at number 18 the previous September, but it storms back to knock Oasis off the top, but reportedly only by about 500 sales. It was very close, apparently, between these two songs.
Like the three singles I bought were essentially Britpop singles. I'm putting Dreamer in with the old Out Here Brothers. And
I think that's very unfair on Living Joy. I think they're more akin to the Bobby Brown single.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Than the Out Here. I don't think they're anything like the Out Here Brothers.
Fair dinkum, I was just talking because I have got literally nothing to say about this song.
It's a proper song. You think of dance records and you think it's one line repeated over and over. This isn't that. This is a pop song with verses and a chorus, and it's about something, and it's just got that sort of Euro dance.
What's it about
beat
to you?
Well, I think the opening line, which is love, life and laughter is all I believe. So I think it's basically about all those signs you see in middle-aged women's kitchens that say things like, it's wine o'clock and I'm not as think as you drunk I am. Yeah, it's about someone imagining an ideal relationship, isn't it? I'm a dreamer. I'm dreaming about this.
Yeah, all right.
This relationship and how perfect it's going to be.
I'm into your lyrical analysis.
Yeah.
Sounds great, doesn't it? There's no denying
it.
It
was
great.
The opposite of the kind of music I was into at the time, but I have got over myself a little bit, and I can appreciate how much of a catchy pop song this is. So, Living Joy are the Visnadi brothers. I'm probably saying that wrong. From Italy.
Brothers, that's how you say it.
Yeah. The Brothers, is that right? Visnadi, of course, which is Italian for out here. They're Italian music producers. So they had the hit with this, it kind of got to top 20, but didn't do anything else. And then earlier in 95, they got to number 2 with a song with Alex Party called Don't Give Me Your Life. Do you remember that?
Who, Alex Party?
Don't give me your life, give me your life. Dun, 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 dun. That song. That got to number 2. Yeah. So they re-released Dreamer. And clearly there was a lot of demand for that song. It had gone on the radio a lot and people had heard it a lot. And then, boom, straight in at number 1.
I mean, it's got the noises and the sounds that are kind of sound absolutely archetypal for dance records, isn't it?
That time, yeah.
Yeah.
The bleepy boop boops.
Yeah, and all the bass sounds tremendous on it and all that. So I get ya.
It's written and sung by Janice Robinson. Any relation of yours?
No.
No. And
I hope not.
She's a singer from Garfield, New Jersey. Why? Why wouldn't you want to be related to...
She would have made a bit of money from this song.
Yeah.
I'd like to have, yeah.
Robertson left Live Enjoy in 1996 to go solo. She'd opened for Tina Turner on her American tour. And in 2018, she was a contestant on The X Factor.
Oh, really?
Yes, she made it through to the live shows, but was the third act voted off. What do you think she sang for her audition?
You would hope Dreamer.
Yeah, it was Dreamer.
She wasn't trying to hide it then.
No.
Yeah, okay.
And at the moment, she's on tour with the Ministry of Sound classical show
great.
that's selling out. Played the Royal Albert Hall and
Great.
plays all the big venues, doesn't it?
I love that a song can help someone's career and life. Put it that way, you know. If you got a big song, you can be singing that for the rest of your life.
Does it feel like a bit of a David and Goliath thing that this song came in sort of re-released and knocks the behemoth of Oasis off the top of the charts?
Yeah, why not? Why not? If you want to interpret the world as that sort of competition, absolutely. And the charts is a competition. Hence us talking about what's number 1 and what's number 7 and 4 and 18, isn't it? Yeah, okay.
What do you think about this chart, this top 10, as a snapshot of 1995? Because if the BBC 4 documentaries are to be believed, in 1995 it was all Britpop.
Well,
but of course it wasn't.
Of course. I love that when they talk about like the punk on the old, the 70s, mid-70s, all about punk, and the charts were never just about punk.
No.
That was it. Well, this top 10 for me, I mean, like I say, I bought 30% of it, so there's that. There's only a couple of songs, only one song really that gets on my nerves. I've discovered bits and bobs that I didn't give the time to. I was into it. I enjoyed listening to it as a collection. What's your favourite?
I think it is, some might say, I do like Lenny by Supergrass, but then, I was a basic Britpop bloke, wasn't I? Basic Britpop bloke. I think of the songs that I've had to revisit that I've enjoyed, I think it's Dreamer. I think Dreamer it's really surprised me how much better that song is than my memory of it. But I think that says a lot more about me than the song.
Right, for sure. I'm going to go for obviously the 3 I bought, which is Oasis, Supergrass, and take that. They kind of put my money into, but I'm going to go for the second half of Tina Arena this week. Surprised me how much I got into it halfway through, which is a good metaphor for life, if ever I've heard one.
If you have enjoyed this episode of Shooby Dooby Doo Up, please rate and review us from wherever you get your podcasts from.
Please listen to the Spotify Top 10. I feel that helps it enough if you've got the time and the inclination. And please subscribe to us on Patreon.
If you go to Patreon, you will hear us talking about a bunch of songs that didn't get into the top 10 in this week, May 10th, 1995. And there are some absolute corkers in that and some interesting...
Always. Good old
ones.
UK charts, eh?
Yep.
Thanks for listening.
Until next time.
Shooby dooby doo up.
Bop bop shoo up.